What's up, guys? It's your boy Ray here to talk about hip hop for not the first time, but first handful of times. I don't think I've touched on hip hop a lot, along with Jarett Swazo.
Swazo.
Damn. I'm
Thank you for not going full Swazo. I appreciate it.
okay. I wasn't sure, but okay. Well, as you know, we've been friends for a long time. Clearly, by the way I very unconfidently pronounced his name correctly. How you doing? And happy Chance Day. It's been some time. I feel like
Yeah, had a little bit of time to do with it. I have been good, and to talk in generalities first, these last month and a half of just stuff coming out has been great. I feel like it is time for the 27 to 32, 33 year olds to really shine right now, because I mean we got like Clips, Freddie Gibbs, Tyler, Chance. This is for us. This is not for the Gen Z children.
Well, I mean, even more so, I also feel like even guys who are in their 40s, 50s, 60s are having really strong like hip hop careers. It's interesting to watch because it's I don't feel like hip hop is producing the stars with the same frequency and at the same level in the way that they were. I'm not saying hip hop isn't popular, but at the same time, it's like I don't know if there are any stars the size of like a Drake or a Kendrick Lamar or a Kanye West coming out from Gen Z, not because they're not popular, but because I feel like there's much more of a democratization of the whole space, where it's hard for really anybody, regardless of how good they are, to get like that universally popular.
Right. It's just a lot less common across the board. That mode of celebrity isn't. It'd be aggressive and early to say it's dying, but it's definitely slowing down.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still impressed, like with how the like old guard, quote unquote, if you want to say it like that, are hanging on to it. It's just, yeah, I don't know if it's dying or if they're just hanging on to it, and it hasn't just. It's like Genkai in Yu Yu Hakusho. It's got to transfer the energy ball to the next generation before it actually happens, or what. But
I don't know if it will, because it's like I know the whole Nos resurgence just kind of cooled off in terms of, I think he ended his he had 2 different trilogies with Hit Boy.
Yeah.
And those both kind of came to a close. He won the Grammy, and but that was, I think, in hindsight, more of a kind of like canary in the coal mine, not like a warning like it's a bad thing, but like a sign of like, hey, this is going to be more accepted to be. And it's funny because all those people still complain about how everyone in hip hop hates old people, and it's like, but
they're getting
the
old.
most popular albums are coming out from people in like their 50s and 40s now.
That's what I'm saying. We're getting old. Even Drake and Kendrick, like they're not.
Oh, they're not young kids anymore. No,
Drake almost 40. Like, I'm not saying. I mean, that probably says something about me, but because I'm not, I guess, too far from that number, but. Yeah. So to kind of zero in on Chance a little bit, I feel like, I mean, we all loved acid rap, and it was such a like.
If you didn't, you can probably just kind of for the dozens of people that listen to this.
Right.
If you didn't, you can probably move on, and not to scare away, like I said, a small listenership, but.
If you hated acid rap, yeah, you probably don't like.
You don't need to spend an hour with us here,
or an hour with this Chance album. Because,
yeah,
I mean that's quintessential, like key to who he is. I think was put out on that tape, and I think very popular among his fan base, and in a very peculiar way, he's had one of the You know how people would say Jason Tatum is like, he's only like 24, and
Yeah.
he's like
Oh yeah,
25,
yeah.
and he's only
Yeah, Chance
27.
had
It's
that.
kind of a
He
he
did.
kind of has that same thing of like, we're all kind of waiting for him to have an elite follow up to that project, or at least we have been. And I would say Coloring Book and The Big Day were not those. At least
Okay,
for
so
me.
this is not a coloring book or a big day review. And
No.
I know, because especially when it's a 6-year gap between albums, it's natural to just like compare it. Like, how does it sound compared to this? How does it sound compared to that? I know I made a point in my mind that I'm not going to like go through every point and say, well, compared to Coloring Book, this sounds like this. And compared to Acid Rap, it fits here. But just to quickly let it out at the top, just to quickly give your take, where's Acid Rap on your scale, where's Coloring Book on your scale, and how much did you dislike Big Day? Like, were you one of the people that are like, oh, it's better than it is?
So
just let me get
era,
the context of where you're
the
coming
whole
from.
era is a no for me, dog. Like, I don't even think about acid. I love acid rap. I think acid rap is something I could put on today. I still listen to like Paranoia is in one of my recent playlists, but sometimes you go through a turbulent time, and just weird stuff happens, and you release music that I don't love, and that's okay. I think I've always kind of reserved, given that it's only 2 projects, I'm okay waiting for like, okay, when you do come back with the next thing, I'll still listen. I'm still gonna give it a chance. I'm not out on Chance. I just didn't like those 2 albums.
Okay, just because I know he's got like a weird mix of fan base. I think Big Day is pretty universally like, you can either say it's mediocre or you can outright say it's bad. I definitely lean towards saying it's bad. Coloring Book, I know some people like it better than Acid Rap, and I think those people are delusional. I like Coloring Book. It's not Acid Rap.
Not in my rotation.
Okay, so now I think that is a quick way to lay out the context of where we're coming from.
Where we are.
Album. Yeah. And that was what, a 6-year gap?
So, it's been a long time.
I think Big Day was 19.
Okay, 6 years. 2019 feels like forever ago.
I think it was literally 6 years ago. Yeah, and I think that goes to show, like, and you hear all artists all the time saying they don't look at the comments. They never read this, read that, but da-da-da-da-da. I mean, obviously the kind of criticism of the Big Day went beyond the Twitter sphere, the comment boards. I mean, it impacted his career on a real level. He was not,
and his personal life.
Yeah, of course, and his personal life. And I mean, it lined up with COVID hitting shortly after that. So that definitely plays a part too. But it just was like, you had the cultural zeitgeist, and then it's gone in a very unique way at how fast it just kind of dissipated.
You know, another thing I think about is the fact that, you know, that felt, I don't want to say that was peak mixtape, but I think it was peak mixtape, like that time for acid rap.
Yeah,
and
it was like right on the tail end of it, but yeah, it was that same kind of timeline.
And I don't feel like, you know, on the other side, from like an industry side, I don't know if the industry loves the idea of having somebody at the forefront be as independent as he is.
Well, and as outwardly independent. And when we get more into this specific album, I'll speak on it more as well. But it's definitely, and I would say that comes from the Chicago background. They're very outspoken and direct with their ideas, their themes. It's something you hear in everyday speech with someone from Chicago. And I know a lot of other cultures and regions will say, well, we don't mince words. We don't. And Chicago really does that. They will come at you directly. And Chance is the same way in his music. His themes are direct. They're in your face. It's not, we're not going to like subtly hit this behind 4 layers of metaphor and maybe you'll get the theme. Like, no, you know what he's talking about. Yeah, and the independence comes through on that too. Absolutely.
So I will say, to kind of get into the music itself, one of the things I find really important about an album is your first like 3 to 5 songs. Like,
I agree.
if like Run the Jewels does this really well. I feel like every time Run the Jewels drops an album, the first like 3 to 5 songs are like,
yeah, it's the same way thinking like a writer. You got to draw them in, engage everyone.
So from basically like Starside intro through I want to say, let me open my phone, look at me, look at the list, but I want to say like track 5, track 6, they're all pretty like, I'm having a great time, this is a high energy album. Chance feels, I don't want to say back, because it's not like he totally disappeared, but he's bringing like an energy, a vivaciousness, and I don't know, I really enjoyed like the opening.
I wanted to ask you this early on, like my first impression, Starside intro, it's good, it's really good, I'm enjoying it, I'm like, cool, this is great. We have real Chance the Rapper on this album, he's here. At what point, because there was a very specific point for me when I was like, oh, this isn't just like, cool, we're getting a, because you listen to some albums from an artist and you're like, oh, I kind of know what they're doing, it's good, but I'm getting a good like Absol album, I'm getting a good Joey Badass album, I'm getting a good, and early on I'm like, cool, we got a good Chance the Rapper album, I can rock with this. But was there a moment in that first kind of 3 to 5 track run where it flipped and it's like, oh no, this is fresh, it's actually something actually new, not just here's a good collection of songs that I know my fan base will like? And not that that's a bad thing, I enjoy those albums too.
I'm gonna say Drapetomania.
Okay.
As a song that felt a lot more, I'm not saying that it still felt like Chance, but it feels like Chance adjusted to the musical stylings and preferences of 2025. And
yeah, I can see that,
how it feels. I did feel like it slows down a little bit somewhat after this. This is a song that I don't really like, and we can get to that. But yeah, I want to say Drapetomania is and maybe some of it is some of the features that he has. Baby Chief Dolt, I don't know who that is exactly, but
so I came across some article about him after I'd listened to it too. He's some like 15, I think he's like 15. He's a kid in Chicago. The only thing I got out of that was apparently he was fighting with his fans because he said something in an interview along the lines of, not exactly, that he had used ChatGPT to get like ideas for lyrics before and then adjusted them to, and I'm like, oh no.
Well,
oh no. And he's I think he's a kid, like truly 15, 16. So I'm gonna give him some grace, but I think his manager told him, even if that's not how it goes down, you should not be saying that in an interview.
Yeah, probably not. But I appreciated his energy, and
yeah, no, the verse itself on here, I had no problem with it.
And just kind of the future run that he has in this, like all the way through, I want to say the highs and lows with Joey Badass, all very like contributing something that fits the theme, but is also a little bit different.
I love the Jamila Woods feature on No More Old Men, and she's always great. Yeah, have you heard the song they have together, LSD, off of her album?
I have not.
Oh my goodness, that song has gone like platinum in my house. You've probably heard it at my house. There was just other stuff going on, so
I probably have.
But they always do great work together, and for me at least, No More Old Men was the song where it flipped from cool, we have good chance, to where I really thought we were getting something new and fresh and really interesting. And on that one, the whole like the kind of inverse of the usual hip hop trope of we live fast, we die young, work hard, play hard, Wiz Khalifa, whatever angle you want to take on it. And Chance has always kind of done the opposite of it, where it's like, no, I kind of want to be around. And this just felt like a continuation of those similar themes, but a much more mature and unique angle on it of I want the old people problems. I want to be trying to dress in in Lacoste like I'm about to hit the golf course.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and I feel that like there are things that, like, you know, at a certain point you're too young for, or too old for, I should, or at least you would like to be too old for.
Right.
And yeah, I think that's it's very thoughtful sentiment. And if I had to just like cut out this opening section of the album, I would give it pretty close to a 10.
Where's your cutoff point for that?
I'm glad you asked. The highs and lows, you know, it slows down a little bit. Space and time, it's Link Me in the Future. I didn't really like it.
Okay, I mean, and that song in particular, so this tracks to like why I thought it was important to give the context of where we're coming from. That is very like textbook from Coloring Book. That's the sound on there. It's got the Francis and the Lights. I don't think, maybe they had a part in the production on here. I don't think they're on the track, but I mean, it's very much that style. Kanye with a vocoder. So that's kind of where you lost the plot a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. I don't. It's not that Gun in Your Purse is bad, but I didn't love it either.
Can I say I like Young Thug? I like the Young Thug songs. I do. He has a good chunk of features like this where I'm like, did he say 8 bars in the time of like a full 16?
Yeah.
Was that like a 2-minute verse that said like 8 things?
It might be. It's fun. Like it's more a like track. If it was on in the background, I would be fine with it, and I wouldn't think much about it. And it's kind of like an earwig of a hook.
Yeah,
in your purse.
I connected to almost Drapedo Mania in the sense that it's Chance trying to like kind of reach into the other sounds of Chicago than he's typically associated with. And a lot of times, and I feel the same way about Drapedo Mania, is he's good at those styles. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to be like the hip hop hipster lyrical miracle, give me the real heavy hearted themes and all that. But I'm not necessarily going to Chance for drill and house beat.
Not necessarily.
But he's not bad at it. They're not bad songs for sure.
Yeah, and that kind of parlays into where I want to say. So the back half of the album, I would say, is like solid. Like, I still think it's a step forward from where he's been for me the last, I guess, 6-9 years.
The last decade.
Sure. I mean, for some artists, a decade is like 10 albums.
A whole career. It's a whole career.
Right.
Oh, for sure.
And another thing, so this album is 17 tracks, and it feels like a lot, but I think the fact that it's only an hour and 7 minutes, I appreciate, like, if there was a pitfall here of if he had really stretched this all out with the song lengths and you're having a high track count, or I would have gotten kind of annoyed. I feel like even though maybe I waned a little bit towards the back half, I feel like it is fine because I've gotten so many songs that I've really loved in the front, and the fact that he's doing some interesting different things. He's not boring me in like a repetitive way.
I agree. Yeah, he has enough versatility that he at least is able to hold an hour plus album the way some artists can and some artists can't. And I think especially in the streaming era, when it's like streaming numbers and just for a fact that albums are being bloated so that they can hit those streaming numbers on the overall album, I feel like it's almost natural if you see anything above that 16, 17, 18 track limit, you're gonna go in a little skeptical, like, okay,
it's got to be,
are we just trying to put some numbers on the board here, or
which I respect,
Yeah.
Sometimes you gotta put numbers on the board. Yeah.
I don't know if the Migos need a 36 song album, but you gotta do what you gotta do.
No, not the double album. Nobody. You better be, I don't know, the Roots can drop a double album and I'll be like, okay.
Well, and it's genre specific, because hour 20, hour 30 minute is completely the norm in other places, but especially, and I'm almost grateful for this to some extent, the length of this one, because I am getting kind of tired of here's my full album, it's 32 minutes. What?
That's not really an album.
It is, though, in a lot of contexts in today's world. There's a lot of people that are just like shortening the album, and I think that's, and I almost feel like the attention span thing has become an excuse, where it's like, well, nobody's going to listen for longer than 90 seconds anyways in the TikTok economy, so I'm not even going to try to fight that. I'm like,
it's
okay,
valid.
I guess that's what we're doing.
And like, if all you have is an EP length thing to drop, all right, that's cool.
Yeah, please do it.
That's just like a nomenclature thing at this point, because we don't really do, like, people aren't really dropping mixtapes in the same way that they used to. People aren't really dropping EPs in the same way they used to. Everything is kind of just under this amorphous title of like, here's my album.
Right.
Are they even? Is the album the goal, or is like having the hit single the goal? Kind of like what you're saying. There's some of that as well. So he kept it reasonable, which is good.
Agreed. And like you said, I think everything has its place, whether it's a song to your taste or not. It did feel like everything had a slot that it needed to fill. It makes the track listing definitely makes sense to me. And even in the arrangement of the tracks, I don't have a strong critique on. I mean, you can pick like, oh, I like this one and it should be next to my other favorite, but I see the line of thinking here.
Yeah. And it's, even though it doesn't match the front half, it's still pleasant.
Right.
Like, it's a little bit more relaxed, and I feel a lot more of like the gospel themes in this section of the album.
For sure. Oh, by the time you get to, I mean, what did you think of Letters?
It's, I'm sure I can hear you. It's like, it's thoughtful. It's nice. I enjoy it. I think I give it like an 8.
Sure. I'm gonna give okay, because I think that was one of my favorites, but it definitely kind of pulls you back to the gospel angle.
Yeah, I was kind of back in this stretch of like Letters and Just a Drop, the J Electronica feature. Anytime you get a J Electronica feature, I'm happy. But yeah, I really enjoyed kind of like the front and the back end for different reasons. The front's a little bit more energetic, the back end is a little bit more thoughtful, a little more the production on this whole album is very good.
Yeah, and he's always come through with very solid production.
Yeah,
even on parts I don't like on Parts of the Big Day, on portions of Coloring Book, that I love that album, but I agree that it was definitely overhyped. But the production has always come correct. He's been very consistent with making sure I'm not putting something that's like really weak or questionable or really suspect as a produced track on here.
Mm-hmm. You might not like this particular track, but it's not going to break your immersion from the album so hard that you're like, oh no.
That's a great way to put it, because it's a very immersive album, and his best work is always very immersive, and I think that's what draws a lot of people to it, is you can just kind of get lost in a world for an hour in ways that I feel like it's easy for music to do that to you when you're in your like formative years, like whatever years those are, when music is really forming your opinion and thoughts on life.
Mm-hmm.
He's good at pulling you into that headspace.
Yeah, definitely. So did you have so favorite track for me I think I kind of mentioned before. Did you have one?
Oh, it's Back to the Go.
Back to the Go.
It's Back to the Go. Yeah, I thought the sample was incredible. Thematically, it's very Chance the Rapper. It's pretty much, it's nothing new, surprising, crazy in terms of, yeah, this sounds like something he would say, something he would do, but it feels just like a completely different angle on it, and in terms of like the thoughts of going back home and laying low. That's something he's talked a lot about, but just the something about the hook, the cadence he uses on it is fresh. I mean, have you heard Chance sing or rap a hook like that before?
No, it's very
No,
fresh.
and that's really cool. It's awesome. I mean, I love hearing artists try things that, and obviously it's better when it works.
It is,
but this it really worked for me. I thought the sample was excellent. I mean, it's very on point, very Chicago, very brash Chicago. Like, yeah, we're from Chicago, and we're gonna tell you every 2 seconds. And it drove me crazy when I lived there, but I also loved it about them because you don't hear people in Denver talking like that. You don't.
Very few cities take a lot of pride in themselves as a city in that way.
I would argue they're number one in terms of city pride and making sure you know exactly where they're from. I see, and I knew that was going to be the argument.
But there's a tier. It's like New Yorkers, Parisians, and I'd say Chicago people as well. People from LA, I guess. I don't know who's from LA. I don't know, but. Yeah,
no, that whole song just had everything that really kind of sold me on Chance and put me in. Acid Rain off of Acid Rap was kind of the first song that really looped me in. I had heard a couple of tracks off of 10 Day the year before, but never really followed up to listen to the whole thing and until Acid Rap had already come out. But I feel like there's a lot of similarities between the two in terms of what you would want from a Chance the Rapper song, even if they don't sound similar. It's got his same, like, kind of, I don't want to say the same flow because I know any artist would hate that and they're not the same, but it's got a similar energy. Like, his rhyme scheme is similar in terms of he's rhyming 4 to 5 syllables in every line. There might be a couple filler words that are the same, but it's like I'm gonna rhyme the whole line here so that I can really hit home a flow, a cadence, a melodic idea. And I'm going to use alliteration very heavily. There's heavy, like, just pointed, intended, nostalgic pop culture references, which he did cross the line too corny on those at one point. But I got to give him credit because he can push. There's how many, like, I'm a 90s kid nostalgia moments can you have before you cross corny? Because I think he found, like, the exact line to not cross that, and eventually he did, but he's doing that again. I mean, this was just vintage in my opinion.
He also, well, actually, I'll say this point. I really like his dynamic with Vic Mensa as well. And I just had the on the whim. I was just like, I haven't really listened to a Vic Mensa project in a while.
And I even had a note about that. He puts out solid music. Even I understand why it never took off, but even after the hype kind of died down, a lot of his albums they're solid. But you're right. When they get together, it is different.
And I just saw him actually in like a political ad about the Orange Man sending the National Guard to Chicago.
Oh, I'm sure.
And him being very poignant about that. And I was like, you know what, Vic, I need to. He's got like 6 albums I haven't listened to, so I need to, I think, circle back to Vic
circle back on a few of it. I'm sure you'll like some of it. It's not. I don't want to be mean because I like, and that's why I agreed to talk about this one with you because I don't want to do the whole like I'm a critic, so I have to shit on stuff. I don't love all the Vic Mensa stuff. It's solid. He's good. He's consistent. It's worth at least giving a listen and finding the spots that you like.
Yes, he has he's like, if Vic is Sonic, Vic Mensa is like Knuckles.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's still like he has a grittiness to him that I think people enjoy, and he fits the party in a way that I think makes a lot of sense. Even if he's not necessarily the most popular, the one in the cast, and in general, I feel like Chance is one of the few artists who can bring a lot of like thoughtfulness without feeling like it's a I don't want to say preachy because he does so much gospel that he does kind of.
No, I think you're right. I think that's what the best of this kind of vein of rapper does is they give the kind of uplifting positivity, some gospel hints there without coming off as preaching or a sermon.
Mm-hmm. Even go ahead.
I love Killer Mike. Mm-hmm. And I know you mentioned Run the Jewels earlier, so I'm sure you'll get where I'm coming from here. He does have some songs, and I'm like, all right, is this a song or a sermon? Are you spending 4 minutes to tell me how to live, or is this
Killer Mike is also complicated because as much as Killer Mike has like he projects like an image of a very, especially over the last 5 years, because I think in the last 5 years he's become a lot more politically active as well as
and has more notoriety for it. People expect that type of communication from him.
There is like a separating the art from the artist conversation because I feel a lot of genuineness from Killer Mike about like his goals and intentions and all those sorts of things. I don't personally love his takes about like black liberation through capitalism as a way for us to all.
Sure.
It's good for our individual people. I don't know if it's going to be like a systemic change, and that is fine. It's not the end of the world. He's a rapper. So many rappers have worse takes than Killer Mike. But at the same time, it can, me knowing that and knowing I don't necessarily align with Killer Mike politically entirely, even though there are some spaces where I do intersect, we're like, we're on the same page. Sometimes when you do get preachy, it can feel like, all right.
It's a weird balance because I think hip hop has always been supposed to have that. That there's supposed to be some like.
It's countercultural.
I'm telling you how to make it work because you're not going to hear this elsewhere. And it's countercultural. We're telling you the things that they quote unquote they won't tell you. And you're always kind of straddling the line between preaching to people and telling them what they should do in a way that's not as interesting musically as it could be. And I think back to Chance, this album is a good example of how that can be done right, because even like just a drop, that's a very religious song.
Mm-hmm.
And as a non-religious person, I fully loved it. I still thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought there was a lot I could attach myself to, even if I wasn't maybe supposed to get the same message as everyone else on it.
Yeah, I feel bad for people who have religions that aren't as fun. I feel bad for Catholics. No disrespect to Catholics, but when they go to church and there's no drums, at mass.
It's very serious.
I don't know. I feel like a drum set. You don't want to go full like millennial.
Yeah,
church,
right. Yep.
But I don't know. It's hard. It's a hard balance to do. And even so. The album title, and I'm gonna slide home a little bit. The star line is a reference to so back in the day, kids, there was a man named Marcus Garvey, and he created it didn't work out in the end, but created like a black owned and led like shipping line.
Yeah, it was like supposed to be transatlantic, U.S. to Africa shipping lines, right? Yeah.
And Chance does a really good job of doing something like making his album title a reference to that. It's kind of like he'll kind of lead you to the water, but not necessarily force you to drink.
Right. Well, and the actual
the
idea of the Starline only, and he mentions it a few times. His travels to Africa and what that gave him in terms of a mindset and a mentality shift. He references it. It's not like it's not there, but it's not like there's a song called Starline and it says we need this, and this, and let's make a boat and shipping lines.
It's a show don't
that's
tell.
Never there. Yeah.
Yeah. To pull like a reading term. I'm currently reading the Stormlight Archive, if you are a fantasy nerd. Or for anyone listening is a fantasy nerd. I don't know. If you want me to do a review of that, let me know in the comments. Or yeah.
Oh, some Brandon Sanderson?
Some Brandon Sanderson.
Okay.
I'm on that nerdy book time, that 48 hour, that that I don't really want to watch the news right now. So let me go listen to some swords and magic and stuff. But yeah. So okay. Not overall. We'll kind of build up to that. On a scale of 1 to, do you want to rate the album? Actually, before we do this,
sure. Oh yeah. No, I'm not gonna cower down and back out of it like, oh, I can't do it.
Okay, how would you rate the production?
The production,
whatever scale you want to use.
Let's say out of 10, with a 6 being I liked it, but I'm okay moving on. I always, whenever I do it out of 10 rating, I want to give the baseline of what's okay, what's good, and what's great.
Is 7 really average bad. Or is 5 average?
Right. Yeah. Right. So 5 is like mediocre, and I'm kind of disappointed. 6 is I'm okay with this. On this one, maybe just shy of 8.5 on production. Like it's really good. It's not all timer, but it's really good.
I bet like a solid 9.
Yeah. Okay.
There's like little. I mean, there's almost nothing I actively dislike on the album from a production standpoint. And I feel like it's one of the strongest. I will say,
I think the production, even more so than maybe the topical lyrics and his voice and the way he's using it, might be more than anything contextual to our kind of age range of hip-hop fan or rap nerd. Because I mean, this sounds like straight like out of 2014, which to its credit still sounds fresh. That's not my fault, sorry.
That's okay. Yeah,
but I think I think the production on here especially hits our age bracket perfectly.
Okay, so lyricism. Put your rapidy rap hat on, and on how many lyricisms out of 10? How do you feel?
I don't want to say a 9, but it's close to a 9. He's always got a really good pen. There's always a lot more than you think is going on there. I value that in lyrics personally. Is I almost more want to hear like it sounds good on first listen even without me thinking about it, but then I think about it, I'm like, oh shit, there is a lot there.
I feel like I'm like an 8.5.
Okay, for sure.
Like, yeah, it's about where I am as well. Really good Chance, good pen game. I don't know. I'm trying to think of how I want to label this category, but like vocal application, like I'm thinking about things like hooks.
Right. When and I think this is important, and especially, and just to plug my personal favorite in a post Kid Cudi hip hop. It's an important category when everyone's doing some level of melody and melodic music or melodic vocals to some extent. Whether, and I think it's an important choice a lot of rappers nowadays have to make is, one, can I do it? When do I do it? When does it fit? and how far can I extend my vocals, because I hear a lot of rappers that can kind of sing and they're okay, and then they'll do something I'm like, oh, you went way too long on this.
One of the questions, you should ask, can I do this? There's another question, should I do this?
Right. Oh, 100%.
Like, is this really...
you got to rank this category first, because I have a feeling you're going to be a little more critical than me here.
I give it like a light 8. This is not an 8.5. This is like an 8 flat. Like, I enjoy a lot of Chance's...
I think I'm in the same boat there.
Vocal use. There are some misses here, but they're generally good. We're back on track.
So, and I actually have this note for Space and Time, but I'll just drop it here because it fits.
Mm-hmm.
Did you see the live performance he did of Space and Time on The Voice?
I did not. Oh, he did mention...
Yeah, check that out.
On The Voice?
I think I like that better than the final mix, because he let his vocals shine.
Is that like... That's not the Masked Singer, right? That's not...
No, it's a different singing competition show. He was a judge on it for a while. That's why he performed there.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. I was like, he didn't like sneak on a vocal competition like just by himself.
I don't know.
That would be funny.
But I always thought that, and after listening to the album, I thought that was weird, that I thought I liked the live performance better, because I've always, in my mind, contextualized Chance the Rapper as like, and speaking to this as a vocalist, as a singer, I've always thought he was good enough to do it. I was not mad when he did it. I wasn't like, this is a waste of my time. But it was good, and it was a good change of pace oftentimes. And he was definitely unique enough to do the singing rap thing. Like, his voice is certainly unique enough, and he's harnessed it in a way that works. But I never thought he was super, like, elite. But I thought Space and Time was actually a really impressive vocal performance. And I personally really like that song. I know you said that's about where it started to fade off on you. But if you think, whatever your thoughts are on the song itself, that vocal performance was more than I thought Chance had in it.
I agree. Like, in you almost, sometimes it's easy to put him in like a Danny Brown category, where like, oh, he sings, he uses his vocals, but like, it's that they're so distinct that makes them good. But he does 100%. Have some... He's solid on his feet vocally when he wants to be, when he wants to like make it sound
nice. He's not Whitney Houston walking out there. Yeah,
it slows down for me, like purely in the sense of just like, okay, it's not as exciting.
Sure.
But it's not bad. That's like, and that's very different than, oh, this song is awful and it ruins the flow and all this other stuff.
Right.
Yeah. So I don't know what I'll have to work out titles for these categories, but like album construction, I guess I'm going to call it. Length, consistency, pacing throughout it, continuity, that kind of thing. How do you feel?
I think with how much we talked about the immersion, I do think that's a key component here. I'm tempted to go like a solid... I think most of Chance's albums are like a 9.5 plus in this if this is how you want to break down the category. I'm gonna go like 9.5 leaning 9.75. It's a tiny... I think you nailed it on the nitpicking there. It's a tiny bit long. But I think in terms of putting together a collection of songs that make sense together, he's one of my favorites on that front.
I'm gonna hit an 8. It's still good. I still enjoy it.
I could tell you're going there.
It could have been like 2-3 tracks shorter, but that's fine. It's not a big deal. And if you had really fumbled the bag, I would have said like 7 or 6. Yeah, but so before we give an overall grade, is there any like category that I'm not thinking of, or way you want to judge that album?
I'm sure there is, but my head was not in the category ratings.
I think we covered.
We covered a lot of it. We'll come up with some more as we do more of these.
Okay, cool. So final verdict.
If we're gonna slap a number on it, I'm putting an 8.5 on it.
Same. which I think. So, is Chance back?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's easy to do the whole he never left. He's not back. He was always come on.
Okay.
Come on.
Ain't no way you can say. I mean, you could say it. It's just like it's. I'm not saying he became the worst
You
artist in the
recall
world.
when Highs and Lows came out 3 years ago?
No, I'm not.
That was that single
I will
coming
wait
out
for an
was-
album. I will wait for an album.
I will too, but it was that single came out and I was like, oh, he might actually have some more in him.
And he's like our age. He's got to be
yeah,
like early
he's right.
30s.
I think
Maybe.
I want to say he's like 32.
So he has so much. He's right there with like Logic for me as like artists who I'm like, I know they've been around a while, but like there's a lot. They could have more.
Yeah.
In them. So an 8.5 after.
Well, and I think that's an important distinction to make is, are you growing with your fans, or are you going to let your career peak for 5 years and you're like the fucking man for that period, but then you try to do the same thing one too many times and it's over.
Well, Drake's not over. Drake just is perpetually immature. But this is not the Drake slander hour. But yeah, no, Drake. How about if you're listening, not Drake, Chance, if you're listening, good job. I'm happy to hear from you and glad you're in a good space after everything that happened with your marriage and all that good stuff. Not so good stuff as well. And I hope we see more. That's really all I can say. Give me like 14 tracks. 14 tracks. It's just. Oh, Jarett, you're muted somehow. But or your volume is very low.
Volume went away. We're good. Sorry.
You're good. No worries. You were saying?
In the press run for this album, I really appreciated something he said. He was talking about how, I think he compared it because he's, from Chicago. I'm sure even if you're not like a let me listen to the hip hop interviews person, have gathered he is a massive Kanye fan growing up. But I think he even compared it to like when people tell him how acid rap's so good, when are you doing that again? When are you doing? He almost has learned to let go of getting mad at that. Because I know so many artists do the whole, well, I'm different now, so I have to, if you don't like this new stuff, then screw you and blah, 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 and move on. I thought he had a very healthy perspective when he compared it to Kanye's Late Registration. He's like, nobody can take that away from me. I know he's changing.
Mm-hmm.
So his music is naturally going to change. And like when he did 808s and Heartbreak, I let him kind of lead me there. But nothing is ever going to take away the way I felt about Late Registration. So it sounds like he has a very healthy perspective on, I'm sure, hearing this other album was my favorite, which is rare to see in an artist.
Yeah. It doesn't feel like he's tossing everything out the window, but also is trying to innovate and mature and step into new things and kind of hone his craft to the degree that he can. So I'm happy. I feel like we should do this again.
Yeah, we should. There's been a lot of good stuff coming out lately.
A slew of good albums this year. Yeah, for sure. I don't have anything related to this to plug, but we like music. I'm at Rave on Hackshaw on most platforms. Jarett is a private man on most platforms, I feel like, but he is findable.
I'm out there. Yeah.
And yeah, we'll be back. I think this feels comfortable for me. So
this felt natural.
Yeah. So Chance the Rapper, Starline.
And we both ended up using the same quote number rating.
Rough grade. Yeah, we feel about the same about it. So good work. We'll see you next time.
If this does get listens, I am happy to take recommendations on the next one.
Nice. Yeah. If you have
Personally.
recommendations on things you'd like, more albums you'd like us to cover in this format, definitely leave us a comment or hit us up on the interwebs on Twitter, on probably Twitter. Probably the best place.
That's probably the best spot.
Yeah. I don't go on Blue Sky that much.
No,
as
that
I
was
did.
definitely one of those, like, I'm going to do the alternative and actually give it a shot. And I logged in and I'm like, huh, it's kind of dry.
I don't go on it enough to know if it's dry or not.
Yeah.
And I'm not on Reddit anymore. And I'm 30. I'm washed, guys. I'd be on Facebook now. Like,
Yeah,
oh, look, good for you, person from high school. So anyway, we'll talk to you soon.